bad boy back here. Okay. Um, yeah, that's really it. Really just trying to figure out how the hell this thing works, you know? Because in the future, I definitely plan on doing like streams. I didn't plan on doing that before, only because I'm naturally a nervous human being. So anytime that like there's a kind of like a streaming thing, or anytime I've been asked to do like a streaming kind of thing, I've been like kind of resistant to it just because of how nervous the idea of it made me, you know. My chat is weird because I can't get it to uh minimize. So yeah. Alright, so I gotta figure that out. Probably view no. Yo! Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I thought I had a window showing. Is this oh wait, this is that's just the chat joint. Alright. So if I move this over here, alright. The problem with the chat is that it has decided to go rogue on me and has decided to go full screen and is not allowing me to minimize it, which is very uh disadvantageous. Which I don't even think is a term. So let me actually make this bigger. Whoops. Jesus. There we go. Huh. I'm gonna put this down here. Okay. So I'm gonna put this here. Arrange this. Can you see that? So I'm only putting this up here because maybe the font is way too damn small. Let's see. Let's see how I can maximize this draw. There you go. Yeah. So basically, yo, man, thanks a lot for joining because I was not sure anybody would. Um, but yeah. So like I said, like I was saying in the beginning, like I'm just trying to practice being on camera and um, whether it's like a stream or video and stuff like that. Just trying to like practice being more comfortable talking to niggas. You know what I'm saying? And also to be abundantly clear, uh, I do curse. I will be saying nigga from time to time. Um, and that will be me being my authentic self. Um, but yeah, so um, I don't know, man. So this is also a ask me anything type of session. So please feel free to ask me quite literally anything. I The one thing I need to ask myself is how to find out like how many people are in this stream here. Um, because I do not know. Let's see, so oh well, I wanted to start on YouTube because I had joined a podcast earlier this year called the Blurred Bar. Dope podcast, dope people from Philly. I'm from Philly as well. They saw me talking about movies and on like Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. And basically, like when I say talk about movies and Instagram, so basically when I say talk about movies, I mean I would write a tweet, like a very short tweet. Such and such was excellent. I had a really good time with such and such. And I think they had noticed that I was actually pretty consistent and pretty expressive about talking about movies. and they asked me to be their movie guy. The way the Blur Bar is set up is there's four hosts. It's myself, my guy Dan Rodan, who covers comic books entirely. We got our girl Cobb, who covers video games, and we got our guy Josh, who covers anime and stuff like that. So they wanted to bring me in to be the movie guy, and to just talk about movies and stuff like that. Be the like the fourth horseman of the entertainment apocalypse, I guess. I don't know. So what ended up, this is a long story, I'm sorry. What ended up happening was we had decided that in order to attract more viewers, we would each put out our own content, right? So originally, I was going to be putting something out on the Blur Bar YouTube page, which you guys should definitely check out. And I would just the mandate was post once a week, right? That was it. Just had to post a review of something I saw, or like just some thoughts on film and stuff like that. And what I ended up deciding to do was like I wanted to come up with a show name for my segment, right? So what I came up with was "See for Yourself." Um, so then it kind of went from, oh, you know what? Instead of just having something on their page, I want to make something of my own that I can just partner with them with. So basically, the idea came to my head, which was, yo, whatever I create, if I'm going to be putting all my energy into it, it has to be mine. It has to belong to me, right? I don't want to create something for someone else's page, and at the end of the day, it belongs to them. So when I came up with See for Yourself, um, I wanted to like make my own YouTube page, which was all this. Was a leap. I decided it in one night. Bought a uh, what's the thing on the web where you buy the bought a dom- bought a domain, which is terrible because I'm a web developer. I'm a programmer by trade. Bought a domain, started all the social media accounts, and started the YouTube channel with no real plan other than to just make it. And the advice I give people after I've done that is if you ever have an idea about making something like a YouTube page, just do it. Just make the account. You can change the name later, but once you've made it, it's tangible, it's real. You have something, it's no longer just an idea, it's something that you can interact with. And then for me, if I make it real, I can I can do it, right? I'm more motivated to do something with it. Uh, for example, this stream, I decided this morning to just, I was walking my dog Bruno. I was like, yo, maybe I'll just stream, just figure it out. So I'm sorry, that was a long ass answer to your question. But decided to start on YouTube because I was asked to make some content for a podcast I'm a part of called The Blurred Bar. Mandated to make one video a week. This was 2 months ago on May 11th is when I started. When was when I was going to be starting. So that went from making one thing a week to now I think I have 113, 14 videos up now. So I was making stuff all the time. I just couldn't stop. So once I started, I really started enjoying it. I still enjoy it. Yeah, sorry. It's a long ass answer to your question. But yeah, man, thanks for asking. Yeah, so if I could ask you, how do I sound? How do I look on camera? Are you seeing the secondary screen? That's three questions. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bombard you with questions. Also, I got to figure out how to add some music to this joint because this is kind of quiet up in here. My guys, the Movie Light Podcast. Yo, let me tell you about the Movie Light Podcast. The Movie Light Podcast is a dope podcast that talks about the different aspects of film through a very unique perspective of being filmmakers themselves, creating skits, just creating skits, creating different types of content like that. They also are the movie buffs of movie buffs. As a matter of fact, long story short, like I grew up with them. Literally, I lived in Philly on one side of the street. They literally lived on the other side of the street, and my best friend Steve lived across the street from me. And I would go over there and hang out with their family. Their family was incredibly gracious to me all throughout my growings up. And they instilled my love for movies, right? So they're the reason why I love movies as much as I do, and why I think about movies the way I do. Right? I still have like my own thoughts and stuff like that, but it's just what they have is joy, a sense of joy and appreciation for film that I would like to see more of. They just love movies and stories. So, and because of them, I love movies and stories. So, yeah, man, these are people who inspired me to love film the way I do, and a big part of the reason why I'm here. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Great. So the reason why the show ideas are on the screen is because Jason said, "Hey, you should probably put something else on the screen." That's the only reason why these are here. I'm actually technically on hiatus from the channel. I'm not really going to be recording reviews or anything like that over the next week. I want you guys to hold me to that. And the reason for that is because um, I burnt myself out, like trying to keep up with every trailer reaction, editing to like 2 a.m. almost every day. Uh, you know what I mean? Like the different responsibilities and stuff started falling apart because I was just so focused on the YouTube channel. Now, granted, I'm streaming right now, and you might be asking, well, Ken, you're on your YouTube channel right now. Well, I'm not editing. I'm not doing anything crazy, and my wife is out gardening, so I have ample time to do this. Um, but yeah, so these show ideas are kind of what I'm going to be uh, thinking of doing going forward because I like I mentioned I do trailer reactions, I do movie reviews, I do these videos called general thoughts where I just talk about a concept or something like that in regards to movies. But I want to do something else that stands out, right? So the reason why I have these show ideas, which all these will probably end up on the channel, is because they're uniquely me, right? They're uniquely myself. Anybody can do a trailer reaction or a movie review, and of themselves, but a lot of them sound similar. Um, the first, oh, by the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to interrupt me because I will answer any questions. Um, the the reason why I came up with these shows, which I thought about honestly yesterday, was they are all phrases I've said, or just different things I would like to express that are uniquely me, right? So, for example, Ken's favorite movies. No one else can express that by myself. That'll set me apart from anyone else who expresses their favorite movies. And it's a good possibility that some of my favorite movies aren't some of other people's favorite movies and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be. I would like it to be probably not a weekly segment, because I still want to do the trailer reactions and the movie reviews, but it'll come up every once in a while. Um, Greatest lines in movie history is probably going to is either going to be it's probably going to be a short series, right? I might not turn that into full videos, but there are lines that are fantastic. By the way, love you too, Movie Light. Oh, by the way, subscribe to Movie Light and subscribe to Screens and Reviews. They're both dope channels. I would not endorse them if they weren't. Both of them have unique voices and unique perspectives that are worthy of being shared, especially among this space. So anyway, back to regularly scheduled programming. So essentially, the show, the greatest lines in movie history, is essentially exactly what it sounds like. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be doing it in such a way where I'm just going. The short is just going to be the line. I think that actually might be too short of a short. Um, but I think what it will be is me introducing the line or introducing the movie, the scene, the line, maybe why I like the line so much. And maybe that does become a full video, but most of the videos I make turn into shorts because my shorts get way more views than my regular videos, which makes sense because they're short. You can just go through them, right? So you have things that are obscure. I wanted to call this obscure lines in movie history, but some of them aren't obscure, so I just call them greatest lines in movie history. So, for example, um, I don't know if you guys have seen Face Off, right? The popular line in that movie is well, there's a lot of popular lines. I want you to, if I let you suck my tongue, would you be grateful? Is first of all a wild thing to say to another human being, but also it is a memorable line from that movie. But the line that no one ever talks about is when Sean Archer, the fake Sean Archer, is in the FBI. Yeah, I agree. The As a matter of fact, well, I'll figure it out. But what I was thinking was maybe I'll add a bunch of lines from one movie and do a short of it. But I think it just depends on the movie. But there's a high pitched yell that gosh, what is that actor's name? John Travolta. I'm sorry, Footloose. Nope, not at all. Grease. Um, um, where they're looking for Castor Troy, the fake Castor Troy's body, after they think that he's dead after he escapes from the prison. Spoilers, I'm sorry. And Sean Archer just high pitched yell, "You haven't found the body yet?" Is like it's crazy. Matter of fact, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna actually test and see if you can hear the audio from from other from other videos on the stream. Um, Face Off. Why is this in caps? You haven't found the body. Which I highly doubt because no one ever. Yep, see, we got YouTube, YouTube, which is also my one of my favorite bands of all time. Um, yes, I do listen to rock and roll. What was I? Face Off, Caster, Troy, escapes. Why is this in caps? Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Which member of the Movie Light podcast am I talking to? Speedboat Chase. I'm Castor Troy. No, I am Castor Troy. No. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why I wanted to name an obscure movie. My guy, my literal best friend. This is my best friend Mel Mutt. This is an alias, but he's my guy. Anyway, yeah. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when I was talking about doing obscure movie lines because it's so obscure that you probably won't even find it on like a search. You know what I mean? So um, yeah. But anyway, but that brings me back to Ken's favorite movies, which Face Off is indeed one of my favorite movies. So movies that you can expect to see of Ken's favorite movies are The Lion King, of course, is my favorite movie of all time, hands down. There's no competition with that. Um, and I want you guys to remember this. Favorite movie and best movie are two different things. Your favorite movie could be, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm going to keep speaking so I don't have too much silence here. Uh, your favorite movie could be Batman and Robin from '99 with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. If that's your favorite movie, dope. No problem. You know what I mean? I won't argue. How am I going to argue with your favorite? How would I explain that to me? That is always. Sorry, I'm trying to move the other thing because when I lean in, I emphasize. Yo, Jason. Yo, Jason's one of my best friends from a sports group called Binge Mode Sports. If you guys are familiar with the Binge Mode podcast, there's like an offshoot on it on Facebook called Binge Mode Sports where we talk about sports and all of those. Yes, Jason, other Jason faves are all about preference. Like when people, nigga, because it is like there's, there's no, you know what I'm saying. So Lion King is my favorite movie. So much so that I had planned on naming my firstborn child Simba, Simba Sparks, which I thought was a dope name. It's been vetoed. We don't have any kids right now, but y'all gotta help me out, man. Tell my wife Mel that Simba Sparks is a great name. He'll go far, right? Um, I thought about naming if I had a daughter along with a son, or vice versa, the girl Nala, but that would be strange. I recognized that quite some time ago. I was like, aren't they in a relationship? And aren't Simba and Nala cousins? Because you know the lion Mufasa, he was. There's a bunch of other grown adult women lionesses around for a reason. You know what I mean? You ain't seen no other lions except for like Scar around, and he didn't look like he was enjoying himself. So I'm pretty sure they were cousins. Anyway, well said, bro. The movie like podcast said, well said, bro. Fave and greatest are indeed way different. Fave might be Big Trouble in Little China, which is a great movie, whereas greatest is either Born on the 4th of July or Raising Arizona. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I haven't seen either one of those last two, so that's something I have to get into. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is that uh, I do have an account on a website called Kofi Ko-Fi. You can actually see the link for it in the description of this stream, where you can request for me to review a movie. It'll be any movie from 1970 to present, and because I really don't want to go before that, because honestly I know someone's going to put Casablanca in there, and I have no desire to watch Casablanca. I'm just going to be real with you. The movie version of Tottenham. So the movie version of Tottenham. I'm sorry. I'm going back to Jason's question. Is all right, Jason. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you. Um, is started out great, but let me down as it went along. I can't think of something like big off the top of my head. I know recently it's been Barbie was that for me, and Indiana Jones 5 was that for me as well. Because both of those started out really great and they got progressively worse as they went on. And I wouldn't even say Barbie like worse as in, and not neither one of those movies are terrible, but there's something about both of them that I was bored after the first scene of um, Indiana Jones 5. And Barbie, I there was a lot of heavy handedness in terms of its messaging, which came off as if I was listening to someone read off a Twitter thread. Messaging that, for the most part, I agree with, right? So it's not about the message itself, about feminism, about independence. All that stuff is dope, and I fully support those things. However, the way the message was communicated. Uh, sorry, my dog just went off. Um, so anyway, um, yeah, it's the way the message was communicated. Um, yeah, exactly, Jason. Like, thanks for saying. Jason said, thanks for answering, man. and you're a spot on about favorite versus best. He has something to say about movies. I do. I have a lot to say about movies. I love yo. Also, I love movies a lot. Like it's if I could do this for a living, I absolutely would. Like this would be if I could make the type of money I'm making doing web programming, doing this, I I absolutely would. But yeah, so I forget what I was talking about, which is going to happen a lot, because I have ADHD and these things just fly a coop sometimes. I just completely forget what I'm talking about. But yeah. So oh yeah, movies that kind of start off great, but there's a lot of good stuff to be said about Barbie. Uh, the performances, the costume design, the set design, the costume design and the set design are probably should probably win or be at least nominated for some awards because they both looked incredible. They were both incredible. The cast, great cast. You have Margot Robbie, Simu uh, Kingsley Benadier, who's been killing it recently as Gravik in Secret Invasion. He's also he was also in Last Night in Miami, directed by Regina King, which was phenomenal. And he's going to be playing Bob Marley in the One Love Bob Marley movie coming up. So that is like I'm really looking forward to that because he's a really good actor. Um, yeah, also like Issa Rae, who's amazing, amazing producer, writer, everything. Issa Rae's dope. Uh, so and you have oh, I'm sorry, and you also have Will Ferrell in there, and some others. So there's a lot in this movie. There's a lot of good ingredients in this gumbo. Unfortunately, somebody decided to put raisins in it, and the raisins is the way that the messaging is relayed, which is the issue I had with the movie. And like I said, the messaging I'm good with, I'm cool with, I support. I'm going to be putting out my review. I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting out my review um, this weekend or next weekend when I actually come back from this like little hiatus I'm about to do. Because I still need to finish editing it. Actually, I don't even think I started editing it. Um, yeah, so that is something that will most likely be out soon. And I kind of communicate the exact same thing I just said about my ideas about it. So, yeah, and also like, yeah, so you'll hear more about that in the review. I think I've shared a lot of thoughts about that already. So, unless anybody else has any other questions, I will end this in probably at 2:30. Um, just to have a good end time. Um, However, if someone asks me a question, I will most certainly, more than likely, go over 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But yeah, um, also, so yeah, my last show idea here, as you can see in big bold letters, is this nigga was acting right. So obviously, I can't call a show on YouTube that. So it's probably going to be reduced to acting exclamation point, right? Um, and here's the idea behind that. It's very simple. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at different scenes. I'm going to be looking at different scenes throughout movies where someone was acting like acting their ass off. You guys haven't watched any movies with me, but there are times when someone's acting so well that I'm yo, this nigga was acting. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? Be very expressive about it. And like I said, I can't call a show that because YouTube would probably be like, you probably can't call a show that. But I will say it during the stream. So basically, the idea is I'm going to be observing a scene from a movie in which I think an actor, actress, or a bunch of people are acting their asses off. And we're going to talk about the scene and talk about why I love the acting in that scene, right? So that is pretty much the idea behind it. And similar to Ken's favorite movies and greatest lines of movie history, those will both be um, a movie that you, the movie like podcast said, a movie that you didn't like but can still call it good, even or even a great movie. For me, it's Rocky Horror Picture Show. So a movie I didn't like but can still call it good or even great movie. So there's a movie. I don't think it's Ari Aster who directed it, but I think it's but I think it's give me one second. Oh shit! Oops. All right, I'm back. So Bout. Yeah. So I think it's Ari Aster. I'm not sure. It's called Mother. It stars Jennifer Lawrence, and it's just weird, right? It's just a weird movie. Let's see. Jennifer Lawrence, and when uninvited guests arrive at their home, disrupting their tranquil existence. Yeah, Darren Aronofsky. Like this movie is weird as shit. Um, Yet it's it's weird because when I left the theater after seeing it, I was like, I don't know if that was good. I don't think it was bad. I enjoyed the experience, but it felt like it just happened to me. Like have you ever watched a movie where you are watching it and experiencing kind of like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And it was just kind of like happening to you. Like that's kind of how I felt um when I was watching this movie. I'm still seeing the stream. It says the streaming status is poor. Huh. I think that's because yeah, I can't really tell whether or not this is if you guys can still see it or what have you. So I'll finish this point about Mother. So basically, yeah, Mother's was a movie that like it felt like it was happening to me rather than I was watching it, and an experience. However, well acted, well directed. If it was meant to make you feel uh, if it was meant to be unnerving, it accomplished that. Uh, it accomplished its task, right? Um, so that's why I can say from like all the technical ability and what have you, it it definitely hit on there. It was just it was just such a weird experience. Um, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth sharing. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Well, that sucks. I don't want you guys to experience buffering. Um, and what does it mean? Hey Melma, can you tell me like what's your like how well the stream looks from your perspective? Because I can't really tell from my perspective uh, how it looks. Um, yeah, just let me know because I might just end the stream early just so I can figure out what is transpiring here. But yeah. So yeah. So oh okay, cool. Great. So keep it going. Keeping it going. So yeah, back to the show idea. Yeah, the acting thing. So you can expect to see scenes like Denzel in Flight. The end of the movie, spoilers for Flight. The end of the movies where he admits that he has a problem. Um, that scene is phenomenal, right? Then you have, I just watched this yesterday. It was just a scene that was on. Um, yeah, it was just it just happened to be in my feed. It was a scene where Jean Luc Picard was it was a scene, yeah, where Jean Luc Picard was talking with it was from not First Contact, from the movie First Contact, where he's adamant about not wanting to blow up the ship and let the Borg win in his estimation. He was really emotional about that because he was once a Borg and stuff like that. So it was really like kind of it was a really good scene because you rarely see that kind of emotion from Jean Luc, from Patrick's not from Patrick Stewart, but from Jean Luc Picard. So yeah, man, I thought that that went pretty well. So I'm sorry, I thought that that is a good scene to use for the new show acting, right? Let's put let's italicize that. Right. So those are three shows that are going to be. There's a two shows and like a short series that's going to be coming up on the channel. Acting and Ken's favorite movies and greatest lines in movie history. All three of those you can see um, over the next month or so. I just got to figure out how I want to construct it. Like I said, I literally came up with these ideas yesterday, right? So yeah. So guys, I'm gonna wrap up this stream. Thank you so much for joining me on my first ever stream as I try to like just figure this thing out. Um, if you want to, if you want to suggest a movie for me to watch, you can do that through the Kofi app. Um, you'll see the description in the or to watch and review, I should say, or to review. You'll see the link for that in the description of this video. If you want to just get a shout out at the end of videos, you can also see that in the description as well. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribing and liking the video helps me out tremendously. And I sound like a YouTuber now. So, all right, y'all, I will end the stream now. Thanks so much for coming through and have a great day.